Hey, most likely you came from my video about Andor and just Disney Star Wars in general. And I want to say, if you watched that video and you came over here, hi, hello. So Andor was great, and there was a ton of thoughts that I couldn't fit in my main video. If you managed to magically just happen across this video, there is a card here that takes you to the main video where I talked about the greater issues I have with Disney's Star Wars and what Andor does really great. But I don't know how well this will show on camera, like pages of notes before I actually started writing the script, because I had so much to say about Andor. And of course, tons of stuff couldn't actually make it into the final video without it just getting bloated and chaotic. So I just wanted to go through some of these. This video, by the way, will be about as chaotic as my notes. So if you're looking for something structured, go watch the other one. So something that I think I ended up cutting from the main video was the fact that I actually really enjoyed Solo. I only watched it recently because back when it came out, it was getting so much shit for Alden Emmerich needing an acting coach on set and just all the behind the scenes stuff that was all over the place. And so I didn't watch it. Finally got around to it. It's fun. It's not like it's peak cinema, but it's fun. It's a good heist movie. I thoroughly enjoyed it. If you haven't watched it, I think it's worth a watch. It's a popcorn movie. And man, I have so many mixed feelings about particularly the second season of The Mandalorian onwards, where I think the first season is a great example of good Star Wars. It's a refreshing change of pace. It's a different perspective on the galaxy, and it was nice to see something new and refreshing. But then when season 2 comes around, we get a ton of fan service, that Luke cameo at the end, I don't like Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka. I don't think that's her fault, but I don't particularly care for her performance, and no, not for me. And then Book of Boba Fett and season 3, even worse, which just really left me disappointed for where Star Wars was going. And that's one of the big reasons that I didn't watch Andor. Is I had watched the first 2 seasons of Mandalorian, watched Book of Boba Fett, watched Kenobi. Kenobi was like the straw that broke the camel's back. That was one where I was like, there was so many good things in here, but someone just didn't cook. This cake is still raw. It's very much one of those things that I have an issue with Disney movies in general lately, particularly the recent Marvel stuff, where it feels like a lot of the movies that come out, I think more the TV shows are more of the problem, or the Disney Plus shows, like She-Hulk, or not so much Moon Knight, but Moon Knight a little bit, but a lot of them just feel like a first draft script that when they've gone to write dialogue, it's very much, I feel this exact way, and they're just doing cool, here are all our plot beats, here are all our character beats, and we've just kind of structured them, and that's it. And then they go and shoot that, and that's where I feel like things are really boring. Is it feels like we're watching a lot of first drafts come out when they need more time in the oven to turn into something worthwhile. And Andor's really refreshing in that it doesn't feel like a first draft. It feels like people have gone over this and do what a lot of us would refer to as cutting the fat, getting rid of all the crap that doesn't matter and really refining the bits that do matter. And Andor has a really good sense of focus for that. I really appreciate it. And it's a really refreshing perspective, not to just see the rebel perspective, or not even necessarily rebel, because Cassian doesn't really describe himself as a rebel at this point, but our civilian perspective, but then also the perspective inside of that empire and seeing how the bureaucracy can make things hell for people that are trying to do what they believe is the right thing. Deidre and trying to get the information from other sectors to do what she thinks is the right thing and track down this combination of rebel events to Axis. And I'm keen to see where that goes in season 2, because I really like her character. Cyril, another one that like has great depth to him, is very, very patriotic to a fault, and it fucks him over. And I think that that's a great representation of like how the system doesn't reward you for doing the right thing. Which in this case, I think very much Cyril is doing the right thing. He's trying to report a crime properly, instead of it just getting swept up in paperwork and forgotten about. I think there's a lot of really great political and social commentary in there that make this story have such wonderful depth to it. Yeah, a line that I also don't think made it into the final video. Disney's been pumping out movies and shows designed for viewers that have chronic TikTok brain rot to the point that they'd walk through life wearing the Apple Vision Pro just to get a constant hit of their Subway Surfers fix. Because that's what it feels like. Is like, particularly the Disney trilogy of Star Wars movies, spoon feeds you so hard. You can argue the original trilogy kind of does that. I don't agree. I think that the original trilogy is simple enough that you don't need to spoon feed it, but it also has enough nuance to it that, yeah, you can like gain some greater depth upon rewatching it. Versus the prequels, it could probably use a little bit more spoon feeding. They're a little bit all over the place, but they also have a lot more depth to the commentary that they're trying to provide. Whether you like or dislike the commentary that George Lucas is trying to put there and the way that he's done it is a separate thing. I think we've discussed to death the fact that the prequels have dog-ass dialogue, but that's not the point. So one of the things that I really hate about The Rise of Skywalker is this one particular sequence when they're on whatever fucking desert planet it is, because it's another fucking desert planet. I don't remember the name of it, I don't care. But when Rey and Finn and Poe are running off through the desert, they happen to end up in some quicksand. That quicksand happens to have a cave system under it. Cave system under it happens to have the creepy worm thing. And then the whole Rey magically force healing the worm, and then this really weird niche artifact knife thing also just happens to be there. My issue with that is throughout that sequence, the only action that is taken by any of our characters is Rey force healing this worm snake thing. Everything else leading up to that sequence and during that sequence is just plot being thrown at them. That there's no actual agency of our characters. And that is something that Andor does really well, where everything that happens is because someone made a choice. They took an action right from the get-go. Cassian killing those two dudes on Morlana 5, then Cyril investigating. That also leads to his own punishment. It leads to Deidre doing the whole investigation thing at the ISB. It leads to the hunt for Cassian. It pushes him in the direction where he has to take the heist with Luthen because he doesn't have another choice. It's all these combination of things that everyone is taking actions, separate actions. You've got to remember that for a majority of the runtime of the show, Andor, Cassian, and Cyril and Deidre never meet, never interact, and all their actions still have impacts on each other. And that, to me, is much more engaging than, just getting a basket of eggs and just kind of throwing plot of the characters. It's lame. And another thing that, again, is not just a Star Wars issue, but a general Disney issue, is there's no moments in Andor that feel like you're meant to pause and clap or pause and laugh, right? It's all very intentional about when they hold on a moment. So a lot of the time it'll be just like one person left in a room and it's just a medium close-up or a close-up on their face, and the only reason we're holding on that